Every day feels like a freaking field trip. I'm not kidding when I say that. I can't put into words how much freedom I have. It's kind of scary. So 2025 is around the corner. You're thinking about becoming a flight attendant. Should you become a flight attendant? Is this the right job for you? Should you take the leap? Should you expand your world from box to endless opportunities? My name is Jalen. I am a Minneapolis-based flight attendant for a major airline. I'm gonna give you some reasons why you should become a flight attendant. My simple answer is yes, you should become a flight attendant. Stay tuned to this video to hear my reasons why you should become a flight attendant for 2025. But before that, I'm gonna give you a little bit of my background, like my experience of how I became a flight attendant. And then I'm just gonna go into some points of why you should, and then kind of the cons a little bit of what to expect. Because I don't wanna give you all the glitz and glam and you just sign up for things that you had no idea about. So before becoming a flight attendant, I was a banker. I was a bank teller. I started that at 19 years old, and I eventually dropped out of college and moved back home to work full-time as a banker. And I really thought I was on the right track to success. I was gonna climb the corporate ladder, get my house, get my car, get my dream, this and that. But I always knew deep down that I was a risk taker. Like, I just knew that I didn't want to be boxed into the 9-to-5 life. I knew that I wanted to travel the world. I had to figure this out. I was looking into teaching English abroad or backpacking and staying at random families' house for work and just live abroad that way. It just kept eating at me. So I would save my money. I would take these solo trips. I went to New York and LA. I remember just one night laying in bed, looking up at the ceiling, crying, just wondering, like, is this really it for me? Like, am I not gonna be able to see the world? Am I just gonna have to save my money, take a trip once a year, and wait until I'm in my 40s to really actually make some money, see the world, and no. Anyways, I wanted to take some risk. So one day at work, I ended up having this customer, and I was telling her about, how I wanted to travel the world. I forgot what the context of the conversation was about, but somehow, some way, she ended up telling me that she was a flight attendant. And I was like, flight attendant? How come I never thought about that? I could travel the world and get paid. And that's what she was telling me too. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look into it. She was like, yeah, look into it. She was a Delta flight attendant, I remember that. At the time, I went back home and I researched the hell. I'm telling you, I watched every single YouTube video that you can think of. What it's like to be a flight attendant, how much they get paid, am I gonna be able to survive? Is it worth the risk? I don't know, I had to study on this. So after watching endless amounts of videos, I ended up applying to Frontier. I had no idea who they were. And next thing you know, I get an email saying, come out to Denver, we'll fly you out. Come interview with us. We want to see what your personality is like. And if we like you, we will continue on to training. So that's what I did. So I got a flight, went to Denver, Colorado, and oh my gosh. I just remember just being so excited and just like, dang, this is new. I don't know, it was just a whole new world to me. So anyways, did the interview and I got my CJO on the spot. Then a few weeks passed by, I got an email saying come to training. So I went to Orlando, Florida for training, got my wings. When I tell you flight attendant training is the hardest part about this whole application, the whole getting through flight attendant training was, it was a lot of mental, you just got to really prepare for training. We had 13 exams at the time. You had to pass all your exams with, I think Frontier was 90% or higher. Each exam had almost 100 questions, 80 questions. I'm not saying all of this to scare you. It is doable, I'm telling you. I was already out of school for probably 2 years at that time. So, and people who were way older than me got through as well. And I'm not gonna lie, Frontier is one of the harder trainings. Anyways, got my wings, graduated, made some of the most amazing friends, lifelong friends, been to some of their weddings, just being able to just see them grow, get married, have babies, meet my best friend that's out in Charlotte, made a new life out there, living in Chicago, living in Denver, going to Barcelona, Lisbon, Paris. I've been to London. I've been on dates in London. I've eaten pizza in Amsterdam and getting drinks. Oh my gosh, it's just I just can't imagine just not having that freedom again. So that's how it changed my life. I'm so grateful for that flight attendant that I met when I was back at the bank. Somehow, some way, I believe God was like, let me just give you an answer, because I definitely prayed and cried before that situation happened. That was my story. Once again, personally, it's changed my life. Let's get into why you should become a flight attendant. So the first thing I would say is that management hardly exists. Yes, they are there for you. Yes, they're a phone call away. They're a text message away. They're email away. But on the plane, it's you and your team. You do not have management breathing down your back, asking you why didn't you smile and say this passenger's last name, or just checking you for every little thing. I haven't seen my manager in a few months. And within the last year, I've only seen my manager probably once or twice. I do not come in contact with my manager. They trust me and I trust them. They take care of me. We're good. But I love that about my job. I'm not gonna speak about my last positions, but let's just say that was one of the biggest reasons why I could not stand having a 9-to-5. It's just having somebody breathing down my back. And you won't have that at this job. Another reason is that the job is easy. The job is so freaking easy. This is me on a day-to-day basis. Would you like a drink? Okay, Coke with ice? Okay, cool, pour it. Would you like a Biscoff cookie, almonds, or a granola bar? Okay, here's your granola bar. I don't stress. I don't take my work home. I leave my work on the plane. If I have an irate passenger or just whatever, I just remember that I'm not gonna take this home. I could just deal with this right now and it won't affect me later. My job is super easy. Yes, you are trained for safety. You're trained to do emergency evacuations or what to do, when there's a fire or, medicals. You'll have medicals probably way more than evacuations, but even then, I haven't had a medical all year, and I'm gonna knock on my head because I don't want any more before the end of the year. But all I have to say is that this job is freaking easy. It's easy. It's so easy to the point that some flight attendants feel like there's no challenge, so that's kind of why they leave, and then they leave, and then they end up coming back. It's that easy. I don't feel like I should go to work and use so much of my mental capacity to feel like I'm actually doing something in life. I don't care about that. Let me travel the world, let me make my money, and let me go home. That's the basis of this job. Another thing that I would like to point out, I think this is actually fun, but every day feels like a freaking field trip. I'm not kidding when I say that. A lot of flight attendants can relate. Every day feels like a field trip. I put that in my mindset somehow. I don't know why or how it came about, but ever since I told myself that, I'm like, yeah, it actually does. Going to work, you are walking up to the gate saying, oh, you're about to go to San Francisco. You get to San Francisco, you're there for 24 hours. You go out, you still getting paid to have a margarita and then later go walk on the Golden Gate Bridge just to go back to the hotel and watch anime or whatever. That's my life feels like an ongoing field trip, and I love every bit about that. Yes, life goes fast because I'm enjoying myself. I get to thrift in these cities. I'm just having a ball. Like, yes, it's glamorous. And they say, it's not all that glitz and glam. But for me, my mindset, the way I see it, is glitz and glam. I've had some tough jobs. I've worked in a warehouse. If you worked in a warehouse, you just know. To me, this job is freaking easy. It's a everyday field trip and you get paid like $30-something an hour for it. At least for me, I get paid $37 and some change an hour. And then while we're not on the plane, I'm getting paid an additional $2 and something cents that I'm away from base. So if I'm away from base for 3 days, from the time that we take off, I'm getting paid $2 an hour until that 3 days is done. So when I'm having a margarita on the beach, I'm still getting paid. Tell me that's not nice. Tell me that's not nice. I mean, come on. My next point that I would like to move on is to the freedom and flexibility. I can't put into words how much freedom I have. It's kind of scary. Whenever vacation time comes around and we have to bid and put in for our vacations, because we do that every year, A lot of flight attendants don't even do that. Like, they forget to do it. I put mine in because I knew that I had a trip planned, so I just went to guarantee, but I really didn't have to. I just put it in. Why? Because we make our own schedules. I can have 2 weeks off. I'll show you an example. Here's an example of what my schedule looks like when I barely want to work. And here's my schedule when I actually want to slave for my money. I can have 2 weeks off at a time if I want to. I can switch my schedule around. Even if I get the schedule that I don't want after the bidding day comes and the schedules drop, if I don't like what I see, I'm on there. I'm changing my schedule around. Like, it's at the click of a button. It's all at the end of my fingertips of how I can control and manage my days. Now, weekends are a little bit tough when you're starting off as a flight attendant. Weekends are harder to get off, but during the weekdays, you can definitely guarantee that you're gonna have, some flexibility. Now, I can also only speak for my company because we do have reserve days 6 days out of the month. So with that being said, flexibility is a little bit easier than probably most companies. I say go for my company, Yeah, flexibility though, like once you gain some seniority especially, flexibility is insane. Like I know some people who live out of the country and work for 2 weeks and then off for 2 weeks. I know nurses who are still nurses because they just have that much flexibility that they can keep the job. And another thing I like about that is if you're trying to become a content creator, because that's the new thing, that's the new trend. Becoming a content creator, you have so much time and opportunities to record awesome moments. My picture game on Instagram has skyrocketed because I'm traveling the world. Hello, like you can upgrade your content game with this job. Honestly, taking pictures in Paris and taking having a background in Lisbon, Portugal, and wine tours in Cali, like come on, Instagram worthy, like content game for you content girlies and boys, like come on. I think that's a cool thing. And with that being said, this also gives you time to dig into your hobbies. I have been able to play tennis in, San Diego and Charlotte and here in Minneapolis. I have more time. I don't have to wait until after 5 p.m. when I have no energy to try to, enjoy my hobby. If I'm off for 3 days at a time, that gives me time to actually pour my energy into something else. I just have so much free time. Another point, I think this is going to be the last point before I tap into the cons. There's a list more that I can go through, but I'm just keep it short with this. I have been able to provide my family to see the world. This past October, I have been able to take my mom to Hawaii. She and I went to Honolulu. That was her dream destination. She's always wanted to go there, and I was able to provide that for her, and it was an amazing time. I am so happy. I think that's a big goal of mine that I wanted to do is just to do something big for the parent that I love, and to be able to do that, it just melts my heart. It just makes me feel so proud and so happy to have this job, to just do that. You will be able to provide your family and friends. Oh yeah, I also took my friends to Puerto Rico. We went to Puerto Rico, had a ball, and I also have a really huge trip coming up with my best friend, coming up soon next year. We're thinking about probably Italy or Greece, but just the fact that I can just do that, I don't know, I can't explain or stress how much this job I'm so grateful for. Now, let's talk about some of the reasons why this job might not work best for you. And the first thing I want to talk about is missing time with your friends and family, especially on special events. I haven't been able to go home for Christmas, 4th of July. I think I was able to go for 4th of July. I know Thanksgiving was not a thing. Those are just some of the few holidays that I missed in recent years with my family. Now, when I was at my last airline, I was able to because I had a little bit more seniority, but I'm kind of fresh still at this bigger company. So if you're applying for a legacy airline or the big three, you will have probably a more difficult time of gaining seniority and having those days off. Now, if you can work your magic and post a trip or a swap with somebody, you can still, it's still possible to get those days off, but it is much more, harder to get those days off because everybody wants it off. This job can also be lonely as well. You're surrounded by so many people. Every day you're surrounded by thousands of people. However, for some reason it just feels lonely. I live here in Minneapolis by myself. It gets lonely. It's a weird balance of, I don't really want to talk to anybody, but dang, I really don't talk to anybody, so I'm lonely. I'm still figuring out a balance of how to get that under control, because I do like my alone time, but sometimes I really am alone. Like, I really feel it, especially with this job. You can be alone a lot. I've always been taught to, enjoy yourself, your own company, enjoy your boredom. That's what I've been taught. But some moments it has tested me to be like, yeah, wow, I really do miss being around my friends and family. Those are some things to think about. You will be on your layover and just sitting in bed and just feeling alone in a way and homesick. It doesn't always feel like that, Okay, my camera cut off. Okay, so I remember what I was gonna say. I was moving on to the point of being disciplined. So, you need to be disciplined. You need to learn discipline if you ain't got it. Let me tell you why. Your health, your happiness, your sleep, exercising, your money, finance, those are some of the things that you are gonna have to learn. You're gonna have to learn how to budget. First of all, let's talk about budgeting and money in general. Flight attendant training drained me, honestly. I was broke both times. I don't even like to claim that word. But I was broke both trainings because I wasn't prepared. Should have learned my lesson the first time, but the second time when I got my CJO, they were like, come to training. I was like, I ain't got no money, but oh well, I'm ready to get out of my situation. And I'll tell y'all a reason, I'll talk about later, another video probably, about what it was like taking a break, because I took a break between my last airline and then my next airline. So I worked a 9 to 5 again. Realized that was a mistake. But anyways, back to the video. Your first year as a flight attendant, you will not be making that much money. Okay, so I can say for Daddy D that I work for, that's what they call the airline. Kind of strange to say that, but his airline, the airline I work for now, the first year, I made money. I ain't gonna lie, I made money. I mean, I've been able to afford this apartment since then. The previous airline, I was struggling for the first, while. I was also commuting and living with my mom at that time, so I had a little bit of a break, a little bit easier situation, but I still didn't have that much money. Your first year is just gonna be tough. Just working to get in that seniority and working to be able to hold higher credit trips and getting off a reserve will free you up from being, on call and having more control of making your money. Also, if you're a commuter, that will also drain your money as well. You just need balance, because you're gonna be ordering from Uber Eats, ordering hotels, and spending your money on X, Y, and Z, probably using new washer and dryer machines, just little things like that. It does add up over time. And you're not gonna be able to say yes to having drinks out, or going downtown and having a drink after work. Be disciplined, say no sometimes. Pack your lunch, pack your meals. You have to be disciplined with that too. Not eating all the Biscoff cookies. I gained weight. I've always been skinny my whole life, but my first year as a flight attendant, I started to see weight. And I was like, wow, I've been eating all the snacks on the plane. That's why, be disciplined. Your happiness too. Take time to really focus on what makes you happy. The job will be lonely again. It will be lonely, but focus on your happiness. You will learn what it takes over time. It is doable. I've been able to get through it. Just be disciplined, because it's so easy to just lock yourself up in a hotel room, order Uber Eats, and just pig out in bed. Honestly, sometimes that be life. Sometimes that just be the life. It be feeling good. Just to sit back after work, you don't feel like dealing with nobody. Slam click is what they call it. Click the door, eat your Uber Eats. It's nice. But don't do that all the time, because over time it will come and bite you back. By weight and by stealing your happiness. The days can be long. The days are long, 12 to 14 hour duty days sometimes. You won't get lucky all the time and have just one flight and then just get to your, your 30-hour layover. That doesn't happen all the time. Try to bid for those too, by the way, because I try not to touch anything. Like 4 flights in a day is crazy. I've had a trip just probably 2 months ago where I had to work 4 flights the first day, 4 flights the second day, and then the third day, 3 flights. Long days. You're just working long days. And you're starting at you're waking up. This is like getting ready to go to the airport. You're waking up at 4 a.m. You don't finish your day until 9 p.m. Clocking into the hotel, actually being able to touch the bed at 10 p.m. because you still have to wind down and shower and all of that. And just be prepared for that. It's not always, a quick, easy day. But some flights, sometimes you do get lucky and you just get, only 2 flights for the day or just 1 flight and it's only a 30-minute flight. So that's pretty nice. But be prepared for the long days. People will test your patience. Try not to test. People will test your patience. People will test your patience. I, on the other hand, I don't know, ever since I was young, I've been extremely patient. And if they can test my patience, I don't get mad or anything, but yeah, they will test your patience. But it's not always like that, I promise you. At least the energy that I put out, it's always good. I try to keep, diffuse situations, but there will be some times where people will just be they just have that type of personality. Don't let it get to you. Leave that at work, because that's the good thing about the job. Once again, you don't get to take your stuff off the plane. While you're on the plane, they can find a way to get under your skin in that 2.5-hour flight. Just stay on top of the mental. Tag somebody else in. If they're getting on your nerves, get another flight attendant. Just be like, hey, I don't want to deal with this passenger. Can you help them or whatever? I don't know. Just, you have a team, but just be prepared. Being on call too can be annoying. That's one of the non-flexible parts about the job, being on call. I actually don't mind it, but I only have 6 days out of the month, and I live in base, so I have it easier than other people versus commuter. Because I used to be a commuter. When you commute into base, you have to sit and wait, and you're at the hotel, and you're wondering, am I going to get used? Am I going to have to pay for another night in the hotel? Freaking call me. You don't know what's going on. You are losing sleep because you don't know at 12 a.m. or at 1 a.m. if they're going to call you, you're going to be in a deep sleep. Sometimes those nights become restless because I'm waking up checking my phone. Oh, did I get a missed call? Oh, did I get a missed call? Panicking. Then by the time it's ready to report and you have a long day, you're exhausted. So, like I said, that's where discipline comes in. Go to bed early. If you know you're on call, go to bed early. People will test your patience. The last thing I would put down is people will be asking for buddy passes. Randomly hitting you up. Hey, I got a flight coming up, in May. I'm thinking about going to, the Bahamas. Okay, just cut to the chase. I know what we're doing here. Just tell me that you want a buddy pass. Come on, just be upfront, and I'm still gonna tell you no. Buddy passes, oh my gosh, that's annoying. And sometimes they're not even worth it. They're not worth it at my job. It's just better for you to go ahead and buy a guaranteed seat. But I'm not gonna lie, at my last airline, they were worth it. They were worth it. But people are traveling more now these days, and it's stressful. People will randomly hit you up. You're all of a sudden the celebrity, the hookup, the person who you're the middleman between them and their destination, their vacation. That can be annoying. However, those might be some of the reasons, but I bet all of those still top the current situation that you're in. The annoying employee that you have to see every day when you clock in, the supervisor who is just abusing you because you're actually good at your job, and just waking up feeling like the robot and the number of the company of the 9-to-5 life. And it's just, if I can leave you with this message, because I'm just going to end the video here shortly. If you want to wake up and go down the street and get a pastry at this famous shop in Paris, or wake up and go to this mom and pop famous breakfast place in Dallas, Texas, or just have that field trip lifestyle of just constantly being on a go, not being tied down to anything, going from boxed in rat to just a free bird, having the world at your fingertips. This is the best way to go. I cannot stress how much this job has changed my life. The amount of people that I've met, the dates that I've gone on in London, or just the endless opportunities of just being able to create freedom, and so much joy has come out of this job. That's why this job has not a big turnover rate. There are flight attendants still working from the 70s. Why I say it like that, the 70s. This job will change your life. If this is something that you're debating about, take the jump, because all the flight attendants that you will be working around took the risk too. And those type of people are the best people to be around. The risk takers, the go-getters, the adventurous, fun people. You will meet your best friend, maybe the love of your life, randomly in Philadelphia. Step outside the box. 2025. Take the risk. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? You can always just go back and be like, you know what, that wasn't for me if it wasn't for you. But to say that you did it, I guarantee you, if you do it, you won't find anything else like it. Anyways, I hope that I was able to persuade you. I am off today. I'm probably gonna go enjoy coffee on a random Friday while everybody else is at work before they get off. And I'm just gonna live my good flight attendant life, okay? Well, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you liked it. 2025, I am on a mission to create content. I'm gonna give you the behind the scenes of what it's like to travel. I also wanna channel the inner artist of myself. I just want to not take this job for granted and see what I can create out of being a creative new artist with this job. I want to feel myself traveling and the adventures and just exploring, because I have so much fun with this job that I can't keep up, and I want to create like an online journal for that for you guys to keep up with. So if you're interested in that, please hit subscribe. Tell me what you think. Comment down below if you are going to become a flight attendant or planning to, or you got an interview coming up. Just comment down below. I want you guys to join this community. I'm very excited for you. Thank you for clicking on this video. Like, and I'll see you next time.